just to keep it running nicely. You want less friction, more speed. Hi, my name's Jordan from Hobby Man in Narrowwarren, and today I'm going to give you a quick little rundown on what to do when you first get your car out of the box. Little hints and tips to make your first experience a good one with your RC. So we're just going to pull the body off. I've already done that. This one's seen a little bit of use already, but it's essentially the same. First thing we're going to do is we're going to check the wheel nuts. Most cars will come with a small little tool, but I've got my NINESTEPS tool one here. Reason why we do this is just sometimes they're not as tight as we would like when we first get them. So we just grab our car, chuck our tool on it, and just give it a quick tick. You don't need to go super hard. That one was a touch looser than I would like. And here we go, and here we go, and that's it. So now they're nice and tight. I know they're not going to come off when I'm running it or something like that. Sometimes you'll find, especially with 8-scale cars, the wheel nut will just be a touch too loose, and then during the first run you'll lose a wheel nut and the wheel will go one way and the car will go another. Not what you want to happen. Not what you want to have happen. The other thing we want to do is we just want to make sure it's free moving. This one is moving really, really nicely, right? So it's nice and smooth, and then we can turn the drivetrain and make sure it's all working properly. Make sure there's nothing loose or anything like that. If you've never had cars or anything like that before, or not familiar with how differentials work, when you turn one wheel, the other one will turn the other way. That's perfectly normal. If you hold it, you actually turn the rest of the drivetrain. And this is like one of those things we do on the bench sometimes when someone comes in with a car that's not working quite right. Perfect. The other thing we want to have a look at while we're doing this is just want to get our Allen keys. I've got 3 here. I've got a 1.5, 2, 2.5, and you just select the correct one, and you just go over any of the metal to metal screws or anything on drivetrain, right? And we just make sure that they're tightened up, because this will stop the car from running, or you'll turn it into a two-wheel drive or something like that if it's not right. There you go. That one's nice and tight. I think we're pretty good on this one. This one doesn't have many upgrades on it. Oftentimes you want to have a look at drive shafts and drive cups. Depending on what the car's design is like, you may find the screws to hold in place will be on the drive cup. In this case, they're actually inside the diff, so they'll be fine. The other thing we might want to do that's enough to get the car in, get the battery in. So let's just assume we've had our first run, and we've clicked. What you want to do, get a nice brush and just brush it off, clean it all up, and get rid of any dust or dirt inside here. One part you want to pay special attention to is this hole here on the DC motor. Now this is true of all DC motors. They'll have a hole and a little white fan inside here, and that's to suck air in to keep the motor nice and cool. If it doesn't have it, it overheats, dead motor. So what you want to do is you want to brush it out pretty closely, and if you've got an air compressor or something, you want to blow it out. You want to get rid of any dust or debris that's built up inside here. If you don't, then over time you can just get more and more in there, and eventually will cook your motor, especially very fine grains of dust. It's a real killer of these things. The motors are quite cheap, so it's not the end of the world, but it's something we'd like to avoid if we can. The other thing you want to do maybe over time is get some bearing oil. And just on the end, it's kind of hard to see here, but on the end of this DC motor, there's a little pin pointing out, and it's got a little bearing there. If we just give it 1 drop of oil, it'll help keep that motor running smooth. Just to keep it running nicely. You want less friction, more speed. And after you've run the car, check your suspension, up and down, up and down. Make sure it hasn't bent or something like that, and just have a good look over the car. Especially in between batteries, it takes 2 seconds, right? You get the car, you have a look, and you just see what's going on with it, right? Because if a shock shaft's bent, it's not going to perform as well, and you can still use it, of course, but it's just going to drive a little bit worse, and then you might actually have a hit because you're not car doesn't behave the way you expect it to, and then you have a bigger damage and have more money and work on the horizon than if you just had a quick check and replace what needed to be replaced. Okay, I hope that helps you out with your RC. If you have any questions or anything, just give us a call at the Hobby Man, pop in and see us. We're always happy to help. Okay, thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.